Hello, folks. Well, we all know this, that lately when I find out these other channels that I have done in my other channel, you know, I'm going to erase these videos, only leave one about the 787s. Yeah, that will be it. But one thing I tell you for sure, that I think growing up mind-blowing with mixing the Nanking, something that had happened, if they say it had happened, Nanking massacre with the Islamic extremists in Algeria. It seems kind of stupid that, you know, I'm just trying to help settle things out, but in the wrong way. Sure, you know, people might think of what I might do, you know, but yes, that's how it is. The main thing to develop this thing is that hostages, American hostages, even though, well, this is something that we need to get these hostages out of Algeria and come back here. The British, well, there's something with Britain that I think I might not say, but yes, they need their survivors come back to Britain. And also the Japanese, even though in going on to this way, that, well, I'm really damn sorry that I don't know, that I know I'm so deep inside that I'm freaking hurting myself, that I'm posting these stupid videos, and some friend blocked me in from YouTube because, yes, I know this is more like the thing that extremist, I mean, not all Muslims are bad. I respect that. I respect these folks. I know their own rules. That's how it is. And this man should be, to their terms, as an abomination to their belief system, should be like executed according to their law, according to their Bible. You know, it's like, you know, struggling within. This is like, I know it might be the right thing to do according to their law of this man that has captured American hostages, British hostages, Japanese hostages, should be executed according to their law. It's like, it is what it is. These kinds of people, or these kinds of groups, I mean, you can't retaliate. You know, this is more like a fight for your own beliefs. And this is America, and I am here, and I'm glad to be here. So, as we see a freedom of religion, we have death penalty. That's according to their standards. Death penalty is the way to seek God in their own matter. You know, I respect that, but, you know, I'm not in my own way. I know my own beliefs, and I know what is right from my personal opinions. That this about Japanese troops getting sucked in Algeria, you know, can't blame this. You know, can't even blame for what other sins they have done. You know, they might have, say, like in other cases, they might have done wrong things. You know, the enslavement of Chinese women, the enslavement of Korean women, and other women using as sex slaves during World War II. But Yeah, Unit 731. That might be. This could be true. Nanking Massacre. Don't just settle it with Islam and mixing that and going to their mindset of their ways, and don't even think that Mohammad is Korean, because he's not. My Korean friends, if I'm telling you for my Korean friends, that don't blame or be glad or glorify that Mohammed is Korean, and Islam came from a guy, and that the Arabs were like the closest descendant of Koreans because of what happened in Algeria. Don't believe that, because I think for your own state of mind, you do your sins, they did their sins, nobody's perfect. Simply nobody is perfect. Same way with everything else, or with everybody. It's just one case for the reason why this might be true. And this is my main channel, and then I'm saying that all they have to do is this. Even though there is a God, I forgot to do one thing. Certainly my greatest sin is I know what I have done. I don't want to start crying because I want to cry. I want to cry because these stupid videos and these stupid things and exaggerating things when I have seen all this crap. That's because I know. That's because I have love for the Japanese people. I don't know why, but I think what it is that seem to not to blame everybody. British folks, yes, love your music, love the Spice Girls. You know, you freaking put down K-pop. It freaking surpassed K-pop, you know, Britpop. Yeah, Maroon, like these groups like the Saturdays, and you know, watch it on TV. Amazing, better than Girls' Generation. What I have think, I don't know. And what's the other group I call it? A British boy band? I forgot the name. Yeah. These guys surpass these Korean pop groups, because it is. But in that case, in my perspective, is that yeah, I know things will be done in what it is in these beliefs, my own beliefs, or what I think that. If you might not know that these prayers go, or what is this petition as, or something that everybody needs a hero, and finally God has sent heroes for everybody. You know, as it is, you know. I might love to see a cardinal from Japan setting up things that I think Benedict might help on. That I think that's more like hope for the Japanese people to believe in something. It's not all of them are Catholic Christians, but make them believe in something, that these hostages might be need help from a higher authority, that I think God would help them. And I think this is more like, it is like like a little leap of faith in them, and a little bit there, you know, believe what they believe, and a little bit of there, you know, pray for the hostages, and think this is what it is with the help of these hostages being safe and sound. Sound is better off between the Vatican and Japan to help these hostages to be safe and sound in St. Mary's Cathedral in Tokyo, Japan. And that's just a better response than the Chinese government's controlled Islam. Yeah. And better yet, that I think there's things that I have involved of praying for all the hostages in Algeria, especially the Japanese ones too. You know, keep on praying for them, because I think that's what we need, is just prayer, that they could get out of Algeria, and that the Vatican and Japan could work together in this thing of saving their hostages. And in a way, talk about Shinzo Abe and talk about Yoko's opinion, that I know that there's things that Japan needs to do, even for respect of women's rights, is that they need to see a fine or something of a research. Yeah, kind of like a research that if it's not settled about one thing of this question, and this is a question why, it is kind of crazy, but I could tell you, the British Empire had its flaws also, you know. I know they're not perfect either. They're good people. I mean, I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the British Empire. You know, they have the Prime Minister and everything. They have done good things, but also mistakes. Like, for example, they had control of India. India came independent. They also were involved of, you know, being colonized the America, even though the 4th of July it was a great hit. Yeah, we get the independence from Great Britain, thank God. And also that they also got involved with things that I'm not sure that I could say, like the Bloody Sunday in Northern Ireland. That is supposed to be Irish territory, and that is something that is the Bloody Sunday massacre. That was one thing that Britain has done in that way that I think that you might hope to agree right there. I'm going on to a bit of more detail for Japanese folks. I'm telling you, be happy about this, because Britain has done mistakes also, and that, you know, that if you heard about the Bloody Sunday massacre, you know that the British government want to take control, and the Irish Republican Army want to get independence and everything like that. So there it is. This is happened in Belfast, and then this is where you find a true friend in need. I tell you, folks from Japan, eating random Yoko, a true friend in need. Like this saying, a friend in need is a friend indeed. So it's just like the United States is allied with Britain, but I don't want to have this sour relationship with Great Britain. Even China is involved, and the Chinese also are allied with the British also, because I don't want to have this sour relationship only to work things out. And one thing of the problem is that in order to see something, you gotta like look for something you're not looking for. It's like you're looking for one thing, and then you see this, oh yeah, there's a treasure, and then find nothing. You know, this is where this colonial Hong Kong, I know they might have enslaved. They probably have enslaved Chinese women for sex during the colonization of Hong Kong, and then this is all the way that have happened. Japanese folks, you may be right about the Nanking massacre. You may be right. You may be right, because this is where I tell you why you have to see what is important. If you know, to why this thing, the Bloody Sunday massacre, the Irish independence from the British, and see what it is. I think that Abby would do if they done free trade with Ireland. If Japan does free trade with Ireland for one reason, even though the Brits may have envy and they might just get inform the Chinese of something. I'm not freaking saying mad to Chinese people, but that's what Britain might do to inform of Chinese of a certain problem that I think they like to make up stories. They might have good things in sayings and everything, but they're really good of making up stories, and this is what the British government is good sometimes, and I gotta freaking blame them, but this is just another mistake that is gonna come up next with Japan and Ireland do free trade together and have mutual relationships with each other. In one case of having terming about going to these things all the way to the Nanking massacre. I think I'm gonna just share my point of view of the Japanese point of view of the Nanking massacre in that kind of sense. Going to the colonization, the British colonization of Hong Kong. They were up to, this is where things get sour of what Britain has done about jobs going to China. It first started with the opium trade. Even though we do, the US does the one mistake that it may done, but I think they could be friends, is like the relations with Great Britain. You know, that's just the cause of our jobs going to China. But this is where it starts all the way this to the opium trade. British colonizing Hong Kong for the opium trade. And this is around 100 years of British rule. And then we going back to this thing until World War II has started. This seems that all of this thing, and I think I have to be right with Japanese folks to share their point of view. That, don't get me wrong, excuse me for wanna freaking call me a jerk or an asshole, for all you Chinese folks that I'm sharing the Japanese point of view on this, is that one time that if this has involved something that it seems that Hong Kong troops, I mean Chinese folks from Hong Kong has joined in development with a guy named Ray. That is, it might be a British guy that passed out to be like a German to get informed of this story. That I think if you're right, I might have shared this. During that time, during this colonization, British colonization of Hong Kong, means that Great Britain, Chinese, British, British Chinese has joined the British Army to disguise themselves as Japanese troops, and they have done so many atrocities, being British, and they has done so many atrocities just to cover up things. And this is where this Nanking massacre has never happened in Nanking, China. It mostly happened in a British territory, a former British territory known as Hong Kong. It is like, bam, here comes the big lie. Here comes the story made up that it goes through that I think it'll be impossible for me to believe. Even somebody wrote a book about this that said that happened in Nanking, China. It is all done by British troops. Hong Kong, British Chinese, they were Hong Kongers, part of Great Britain, when Hong Kong used to be part of Great Britain, and they have killed and massacred and millions of their own folks, even from mainland China, that I think this is more like a show to show this appreciation. Yeah, kill them, kill your folks, we ain't gonna say shit. We're gonna freaking blame it on Japan. And then this is where it is when Great Britain put the blame on Japan, using these folks, and all this after the communist government has formed and tied with the British government to take all these things that have happened in Hong Kong to Nanking, to make a museum and stuff, and say that this has happened in Nanking. So this is what the British troops, the Chinese British troops, when Hong Kong used to be colonized by China, has done to fabricate the story, just to make up the story up so people could believe that, this has happened in Nanking, China by the Japanese. It's just another form that the British has used the Japanese. The Hong Kong troops, the British Chinese from Hong Kong that dressed up as Japanese troops, kill millions of their own people, covered it up and blame it on Japan. They have done that kind of atrocity that has done by Britain. The Nanking massacre was done by Britain in Hong Kong with Chinese British troops disguising themselves as Japanese troops, killing their own folks, and make up the story. And a book called The Rape of Nanking is just like, this is like what Britain has done behind doors by not saying it, that they're blaming Japan for their own atrocities they have done in Hong Kong. It is just like, I already shared this Japanese point of view from my point of view of the Nanking massacre, but that's what it is, that Japan and Britain has said to seek into this, that there's a fine to pay. It's a monetary fine. I don't know, it could be billions of pounds. because right after that, Hong Kong was returned back to China. I saw that in 1997. You know, this is why later on with the Bloody Sunday massacre, and then this is where it is. This is where it is. Japan's relationship with Ireland has to be strong, because I think this would be much of a great help, a great leap forward to do free trade. You know, I am against nuclear weapons, but this would be another made-up story. You know, this is what it is. Yeah, I've not heard of all these dynasties that China has done, from nationalists to nationalists when Japan took out Korea, and probably Korea used to be a Chinese colony, and then this is where it all started with the Communist and the People's Republic and the hidden in Tibet, and this, because I think would be more like British jealousy to make up a story about the Irish, you know, and the things of that. I think this would be more than this free trade with Japan, is that Japan has to do free trade agreement with Ireland, in that the thing is that that is being protective to being British controlled. Soon as China's communism falls down, whatever they have had a rise of a new empire, rise of a new dynasty, because you heard the British dynasty is still there. You know, this is more what the far relation between Ireland and Japan and trade, and like I wanted JAFTA for instance with the United States, with Japan, and then to have our own high-speed rail. Is that this could work as strong allies, that I think that if Japan has give up with this thing of Takashima, I mean wait a minute, with the Fukushima and these problems, that there is one other sort of a use that they need to export plutonium to give it to the Irish Republican Army, that the Irish Republican Army could give it to the Irish Navy to use this plutonium for submarines. This is more like kind of like a British call to the Chinese that the Irish Republican Army is developing nuclear weapons. Is that kind of a story? It's gonna be a lie. Don't believe it. It is just a pure made-up lie. That if the British inform the Chinese that the Irish Republican Army is developing nuclear weapons in Ireland, and then this is just going to be nothing but a made-up story, because Japan is there for them, and they'll be very protective, and they could do. I think the Irish, being strong, they could do whatever they do to protect their land from Britain and to unite Northern Ireland to be part of the Republic of Ireland, even if it's with the cause of nuclear weapons. If the British dynasty spreads to mainland China, if that was the case, that it could be necessary for the Irish to deal with Japan in that case. So this is all it is, and as I'm just sharing this thing, that's why this is more like about the Algeria, about the hostages in Algeria, and I mean focus on what God has to do. Pray for them, for the British, for the Americans, for the French, for the Japanese, for whoever, that they'll be home safe and sound in their own home country, into their motherland. You know, and just this petition of whatever it is of my ideas and my point of view is that I think you might love this video, you might like this video, what I have told you to do. Don't forget to pray for the hostages in Algeria from their respective countries, and we hope that these kinds of terrorist people won't harm anybody. You know, let their law do their law. You know, if you believe in me that due to this respect of that is that even according to your book that these people that abominate your beliefs, there needed punishment, you know, that is said in there. But you know, all we want is just peace and harmony, and everybody live together, and no more taking over and colonizing places and territories, because it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. One thing is that we have to be patriotic for what we stand for. You know, like we have been, Americans are patriotic of what they stand for when they liberated from the British, and the Irish would be happy working with Japan, but patriotic of their own thing is that they have chose the right ally, and they have chose to use whatever kind of form of defense they need, even for a defense that had happened in Japan back in 1945. If the British conquered mainland China, is that will be the case if communism goes away, and that Ireland might be in danger of becoming a British territory to defend and get Northern Ireland back. Even though that's what it is. We all have to fight for our freedom, and this is where if freedom comes, freedom rings. And I know that is. I hope you have a nice day or nice evening wherever you are. You know, don't forget to write comments or whatever, and don't forget to remember that everything that I've said or whatever might be a lie. Don't believe people's lives, even if they make it up, even if it comes from Britain. People make lies. So goodbye and see you later, until I make up a new thing of a video that I might say that about signing for the JAFTA petition. Goodbye, folks.